Are you ready for a life masterclass from someone who has genuinely seen it all?
I think that's the only way to describe her.
Today, we are doing a deep dive into the extraordinary world of Carmen Dell'Orefice. I mean, she's the world's oldest supermodel, still working, still thriving, at age 91.
And with a career that spans, what, over 76 years, it's not just about longevity, it's about this incredible sustained engagement with life.
It really is.
So our mission today really is to filter through all the source material and pull out the actionable and often very surprising insights from her philosophy.
On youthfulness, self-care, all of it.
Exactly. We want to give you the shortcut to understanding her secrets.
And what a journey it's been for her. Just to, set the scene a bit. This was not an easy ride. She was discovered at 13 on a bus.
A bus to ballet class in New York, yeah. And then 2 years later, at just 15, she's on the cover of Vogue, the youngest ever.
An amazing start. But the sources, they make it really clear that the grace she has today was forged in some real hardship.
Absolutely. That backstory is so important for context. It explains her resilience, which is, it's a huge part of longevity itself.
Right.
Think about the stress she must have absorbed. She went through 3 marriages, and she faced 2 complete investment losses. Wiped out everything she had.
Everything. Twice.
So to maintain a positive outlook, to keep working through that level of, financial and personal catastrophe, it suggests her mental strength is just as critical as her diet or exercise routine.
That is such a powerful point. So how does she do that? How do you consciously turn that kind of massive stress into positivity?
Yeah.
That's not a simple choice.
Well, it really seems to center on her refusal to panic and her focus on the present. We'll get into that a bit later. But she demands flexibility from her life. That allows her to pivot and rebuild instead of, collapsing.
Okay, let's unpack all this. We're going to structure our deep dive around her whole framework for life.
Yeah.
The external stuff, like skincare.
Internal rules, diet, movement.
And then the philosophical side of things. Her views on love, work, and flexibility. It's this fascinating mix of, extreme simplicity and then surprising intervention.
It really is.
So let's start with that external shell.
Yeah.
Her skincare. Her core mantra is, it's startlingly simple, isn't it?
It is, especially for a supermodel.
Moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. And she says use anything that comes to hand. It could be lotion, could be cream, whatever's there. It's not some $100 serum routine.
No, it strips away all the marketing noise, really. It gets right to the fundamental things skin needs, which is hydration.
Yeah, man.
But while she's minimal with fancy products...
There's a but.
There's a big but. She is fiercely disciplined about one thing that has serious scientific backing. Sunscreen. And this isn't just about looking young. It's absolutely critical for preventing skin cancer. That's a recommendation you hear constantly from major institutions like Harvard Medical School.
And the data on sunscreen for preventing aging signs it's really motivating, especially for anyone listening who thinks, maybe it's too late for them to start.
That's what's so fascinating. There was this groundbreaking study. It was in the Annals of Internal Medicine. They followed over 900 people for 4 years.
Okay.
And the finding was it was unambiguous. Daily use of broad-spectrum sunscreen led to 24% less visible skin aging.
24%.
Compared to people who only used it now and then. And crucially, this benefit was there even for people who started being religious about it in their 40s and 50s.
So the message is clear. It works.
It's a simple, non-negotiable step that works across your whole lifetime.
So you have this ultimate low-tech secret, cheap moisturizer and daily sunscreen. But this is where we hit that duality we mentioned. We can't talk about her skin without talking about the high-tech, aggressive stuff.
Right. She's been very open about it.
She's admitted to enhancing her, quote, God-given bone structure with regular silicone injections over the decades.
And we also know she had a medical dermabrasion. It sounds pretty fearsome. It's like an intense sanding of the skin. She had that done nearly 50 years ago to get rid of wrinkles and sun damage.
So that context is essential, isn't it? The secret isn't just a $10 moisturizer.
Not at all. It's the combination. It's the relentless, cheap, daily maintenance, plus a strategic capital investment in major procedures.
Wait, so is the real lesson here that no amount of simple moisturizing can completely fix years of sun damage? That a surgical intervention is the ultimate secret? That kind of cuts against the simple living narrative.
Well, you could see it as the difference between, say, basic upkeep and a major renovation on a house. The dermabrasion corrected 50 years of damage. The moisturizing preserves the results of that renovation.
I see.
It shows that longevity is often a mix of excellent habits and, frankly, the ability to fund targeted, sometimes aggressive interventions. You have to see the whole picture.
Understood. Her other external secret, though, that one falls back into the low-maintenance camp.
Minimal makeup.
Right. She avoids it completely when she's not working. Believes her skin needs to breathe.
And that belief, it's grounded in reality. Makeup ingredients, especially the heavy ones, they can build up, they trap oils and sweat, and that just makes skin look dull and uneven, makes it look older.
Okay, so we've seen the outside is this mix of discipline and intervention. But all that physical maintenance means nothing without fuel. Let's talk about what she puts in the engine. Her diet.
The Rolls-Royce engine, as she'd say.
Exactly. She's 5'11", and her whole approach is defined by what she doesn't do. No strict diet, no calorie counting.
It's an anti-diet diet, really. It's all about enjoyment and intuitive eating. She loves to cook. There's an example where she says if she finds spinach too watery, she'll either cook it down herself or just eat it raw.
It's about satisfaction, not restriction. But she does have a few daily essentials that kind of anchor her intake.
She does. She always starts her day with water and lemon juice, and she eats plenty of probiotic yogurt.
But the most important thing for her, above all else, is water.
Just water, ample amounts, all day. She always keeps it right by her side. That constant hydration is completely non-negotiable for her.
And if you connect that internal fuel to movement, the studies generally show that your metabolism really starts to decline after you hit 60.
Right, it accelerates then. So she counters this with a remarkably simple approach, something anyone can do. A regular walking routine.
30 minutes a day, often with friends. It's so gentle, so accessible. But those benefits, they compound over decades, don't they?
They absolutely do. It's not just about general health. It's a silent maintenance system. You're boosting cardiovascular fitness, strengthening your bones without all the stress on your joints, reducing body fat, and boosting muscle power.
It's the ultimate zero-cost long-term habit.
It is.
What's really insightful, I think, is how intentional her whole morning ritual is. It starts before she even gets out of bed.
With that gentle, self-aware stretching.
Yeah, she rolls a little to see how her hips feel, bends her knees, does gentle leg ups. She calls it saying hello to the different parts of her body.
It's a process of deep self-listening. And that ritual flows right into her awareness of hydration, too.
How's that?
Well, if her throat's dry, she drinks water, obviously. But more than that, if her eyes feel dry, she knows instantly she needs more fluid inside. She doesn't reach for eye drops. She addresses the root cause her body is telling her about.
And then there's her morning fixture, the jazz and bicycle moment.
I love this part.
She puts the tea kettle on. She sets her vintage radio, a 19 radio, to some good jazz. And then she jumps on her indoor bicycle until the kettle whistles. It's so specific.
It is. It's this efficient little ritual that mixes pleasure with purpose. And before we move on from her internal maintenance, we have to talk about the ice cream.
We have to. The emotional staple.
She keeps plenty in the freezer, not just because she loves it, but for a feeling of security.
That's the part that really sticks with you. She says you'd think clothes would do it for a supermodel.
But no, it's ice cream.
It's ice cream.
And that little insight is so important. It shows that her strategy fully accepts emotional comfort. It's not just about physical discipline. You need a security blanket. Hers just happens to be in the freezer.
And that bridges us perfectly to her philosophy on flexibility and the mind-body connection.
It really does. Because the ice cream is an acknowledgement that emotional needs can sometimes override a strict physical plan.
She emphasizes that, doesn't she? That routines have to be flexible.
Absolutely. If she wakes up with a problem, a hip twinge, whatever it is, she doesn't just stubbornly stick to the routine because it's the routine.
Why is that so dangerous? Most people are looking for that perfect, rigid plan.
Because being too rigid becomes counterproductive. It works against what your body actually needs in that moment. Longevity requires consistency, sure, but consistency requires flexibility. If you force your body to do something it's fighting against, you'll just build resentment or risk injury, and then you'll abandon the whole thing.
The regime has to serve her, not the other way around.
Exactly. And that refusal to just follow someone else's plan, it highlights how important individuality is. To manage stress, she focuses on her bond with her brain. She uses deep breaths to override pain and control anxiety.
Instead of panicking,
she believes that when her body feels better, her brain feels better. That inner control is everything.
That focus on calm efficiency, it carries over to her work too, right?
Yeah, the sources say she always prepares and researches before diving into anything unknown. It's a great tip, really. Reduce your anxiety by being prepared.
And she balances that professional focus with some really calming hobbies. Sewing.
A skill she learned from her mother when they were poor and needed the money. And photography. Finding peace and capturing beauty.
Okay, let's talk about the element that often defines or ends longevity discussions for people: love and intimacy.
And she is remarkably candid about this, even at 91.
She sees intimacy as essential, like breathing.
It's such a refreshing take and just refuses to accept that stereotype that intimacy has an expiration date. When she was asked about it, she just said, "Of course, why would I give that up?"
And this is where we get the most memorable analogy from all the source material.
The Rolls-Royce.
The Rolls-Royce. She says intimacy isn't about performance, it's about maintenance. You have to occasionally turn on the motor to keep it running smoothly.
So that when you do want to drive the car, it's ready to go?
Exactly.
That just shifts the whole perspective, doesn't it? It's not a sporadic outcome, it's an active process. Like oiling a beautiful machine. She thinks people give up on it because they're undersatisfied.
And she compares it to a wonderful wave that starts way out in the ocean and then finally hits on shore. It is fabulous.
It's an active embrace of life's pleasures, no matter your age. And her view of love itself, it's really expanded over her life.
Right. She says finding marriage, intimacy, and lust all in one person is fabulous, but
she's realized that love isn't a narrow thing. You can absolutely find your soulmate in friendship, too.
And she still has crushes. She has a love interest today. This whole approach is summed up in her philosophy. What is it?
Almost everything in life, less is more, except love.
I love that. It's a compelling argument for just prioritizing deep connection in all its forms.
And finally, there's work, because she's still doing it, with passion.
When she's asked about retirement, she just says,
no. For her, work isn't a burden to escape. It's tied to her desire to enjoy every single day. It's the clearest symbol of her engagement with life.
So, after all that, what does this mean for you, for the listener? If we look at this incredible life, the core takeaways are this blend of simplicity and self-awareness.
Yeah. It's the power of simple hydration, daily sunscreen,
combined with listening really deeply to your body's needs, allowing flexibility over rigidity, and knowing that sometimes that deep need is a security blanket of ice cream in the freezer.
It's the ultimate paradox of her life, isn't it? On one hand, you have the super low maintenance stuff, simple walking, moisturizing with anything, intuitive eating.
And on the other, the very high-maintenance planned medical interventions like dermabrasion and silicone.
And the key takeaway seems to be that both of those things, they're serving one goal: continuous engagement.
Absolutely. The refusal to give up intimacy, the refusal to retire. It's all about staying in motion. Metaphorically and physically, she refuses to let the engine gather dust.
Which brings up a really important question for everyone listening, and it links right back to her Rolls-Royce analogy.
How so?
Well, her analogy suggests active, continuous maintenance is key. So the question is, how do you maintain the engine of your own life, your work, your relationships, your physical health, so that when you want to drive the car, it's ready to go?
That active preparation. That's the secret ingredient, the ability to grab hold of life, even in your 9th decade. A wonderful and provocative thought to mull over. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope you found some refreshing, maybe even surprising insights here. See you next time.